I'm so glad I went down the Kamelot rabbit trail with you all finally, after how long of waiting, when it should have been sooner. I've had Kamelot sitting on my phone for a while in an effort and intention to fulfill the promise I made to many of you upon recommendation as a name supplied from those of you who are familiarized to my work, and how much I love, covering music on the channel, as well as specifically European music, or European in connection with the Napalm Records regard. I'm so impressed by their library of artists of what I've consulted, and it's been a good number on this channel, and Kamelot is the newest edition. And I just had that nagging that I was going to like them. 2 tracks in, with Phantom Divine and Amnesia, or Phantom Divine Shadow Empire for full namesake, and Amnesiac. Wonderful personality. I love power metal, but the variety and the character on these pieces with the dimension of different layers, a part of, I'd say, a symphonic flair, electronic emphasis, brilliant vocals, wonderful key choices, brilliant structuring. I'm having a wonderful time. So, let's continue down the rabbit trail for me with Kamelot through Mindfall Remedy. This is going to be the concluding track of what I'm covering off of the Shadow Fury, and then we're going to get into, don't worry, it's not the last week spending with Kamelot. I got a good range. I'll keep you, in suspense for the great, not for the Great Awakening, the Awakening. It's not a great, well, I'm sure it's going to be a great experience, but it's the Awakening for titles, specific state, but it's certainly a sentiment it feels like the ever. This is the conclusion for what I've picked in terms of a selection off of the Shadow Fury. I'm just having a great time with this album. It's so strong, and I hope for those of you who this is going to be the first time entertainment listen, it is too. I know many of you are approaching again from an angle of familiarity, right? I'm sure you're very much satisfied that I'm finally getting to Kamelot. And in terms of, foinding groups that's following the channel of specific reverence, they certainly qualify. I love humoring their work. It's just brilliant and exquisite to humor. In the metal territory, this is a type of dynamic that I love. And I hope for those of you this is going to be a first introduction, you share in the same interest. And maybe this video will, if past songs haven't done that, maybe you haven't heard them yet, and I recommend them, this will invigorate that. So, Mindfall Remedy. I'm going to go ahead and queue up the, I'm sure, conceptual video to follow along. Let's see what path it goes down. I mean, the last two were. So I'm going to pull that up, and then, of course, in accordance to my normal music coverage pattern, if you'd like to read along the narrative of the piece, that will be provided to you in the video feed. So you'll see that pop up in a minute as soon as the song launches. I'm just ready to humor Kamelot. It's like, let's just get to it. More time, please. Okay, this is like a live show. Sweet. So I get a window into at least part of their fan base reach. I can't wait to hear more. I'd imagine the Awakening is to this level of strength. It's going to be so much fun.
When you're trapped in your doubt and your anger, and you're wailing along like you relish the fail. When your life turns to be a deception, and you're scratching the walls of your cell. Each step requires mad devotion. Mindfall remedy. No one else will catch you.
I wonder if that was Lauren doing the screaming background or backdrop. Lauren Hart, new addition of coverage on this channel, a new first time Australian artist spotlighted. Isn't she great?
All those rules were resembling a future.
You're listening to that accent, it's so specific. That makes it a scream. Oh, it's a beautiful blend of Thomas.
With the absence of love and compassion, every stone is a mountain too high. Each step requires mad devotion.
There's a string background. I love that. It's so. It's subtle, but it's ingrained right into the nature of the song. Its skeleton is just beautiful. I was hoping, I was like in the back of my mind, we're gonna get an isolated Lauren Hart performance? Yes. Oh man, that drive. Perfect time for guitar solo too, but oh, the momentum on this piece.
My himself lies the key to my existence, to help myself. Mindfall, no one else will catch you. Only you possess the key.
I love the dominance in her background appearance in terms of the screaming duality between her and the clean vocals. It's just wonderful. Great way to wrap up. Three pieces in. You know, now that I think about it, each piece has its own like individual flair. Maybe the first two, the closest in relation. This is much more intense on beat structure. On the power metal riff side, it is exquisite. That drive, the momentum, the passion on it, I love. And the vocal integration, oh my gosh. As I said, you know, I love fresh introductions, broadly speaking. And Kamelot's a very recent, you know, appearance, of course. But Lauren Hart, I love how, yeah, many of you know this, with collaborations, I love the networking process that specifically resides in, again, attributing that Kamelot is an American group in base, but the Napalm Records regard gives it some European flair, as well as the collaborative artists, well, not with Lauren Hart, there's some exception, I guess. I love the networking process that can take place, right? You have your central talent that you recognize and that you're familiar to, but then you have all these other artists where you love to investigate them later, right? You collect names, and then maybe you can acquire their talents in other measures. Lauren Hart, I will try. I'd love to hear more if she does anything along the screaming line. I don't know about her band Once Human, if it takes that direction, but listening to her, I would assume so, or at least in some venture, listening with Kamelot, to her presence. And that must be so fun for fans. I know for The Awakening, I can't wait to get to it now. That's next. But I know for their recent tour, they, because Melissa Bonney, a longtime favorite of mine, at least in the last couple of months on this channel, she's made a number of regular appearances, and she's got a couple more to grace us with in terms of broad recognition. She, I believe, is currently, or she has at least in the past, touring with Kamelot on part of a new album. It just must be so fun to see these exquisite metal talents make an appearance on behalf of a very alive and thriving fan base. It seems I'm watching the passion on the video. It just seems like everyone has a great time. Like these European rock bands just attract a great slash American, in this case, attract a great measure of audience members. You know, and again, like I said, I do feel oftentimes very isolated in my music tastes. I do feel set adrift quite a bit because the people in my personal circles just don't have the metal connection with me. And yet I drown my sorrows, you know, in sitting here with you, right? And turning that, to borrow a book title from another band that I love, Icon for Hire, their front lady wrote it, turning that pain into art, right? And, or maybe in this case, turning that pain and that sorrow into joy, right? Because you wish, you know, you had connections in life. I do with everybody here in terms of who's witnessing this track with me, and all of you who've recommended the name Kamelot, and all of you who are longer fans than myself. And for those of you who are becoming prospective fans based on that tune, or maybe others of theirs that we've humored here, and that we will humor with The Awakening coming next. I love that there are some points of connection. Albeit, again, a bit of an unusual setup in that, you know, it's not necessarily in the same vicinity. I can't see any of you, but we have plenty of great interactions in terms of the comment sections on feedback. It's a wonderful ride for me to humor the perspectives of other fans out there and to foster those connections where I don't have them in my normal life. Especially for groups that, again, along the genre lines that most appeal to me, just click. Kamelot does. And I feel very honored to humor their talents on the channel and to be just thrown completely, you know, in reverence to what I'm hearing on the power metal side, the vocal talents, the structure of their pieces, the dimension to their works, the energy of the fan base, the obvious passion. It's just so endearing. I'm grateful that I finally got the chance to spotlight them. And I hope for those of you that, again, have been begging for me to cover Kamelot, you're satisfied in that regard, as well as for those of you who Kamelot's a first name, that I've helped plant seeds for you to investigate further. You know, this is why I love music. I love the fellowship quality, as well as just enjoying it on a deeper level. It is the first love in my life, as I've said many times, and Kamelot's energy just speaks to that. Oh, I love it. Fabulous experience as always. I'd love to hear your opinion down below, whether it be on feedback on the particular tune in terms of your perception on it and your, a point of approach. I'd love to hear whatever perspective you come from if you wish to disclose that down below. Longtime fan, emerging, I welcome all. As much as I am, an emerging, but now at least somewhat familiarized fan. I'm having a great time with Kamelot. I'm glad I dug back a bit, because these first 3 pieces are incredibly strong off the Shadow Fury. But the Awakening is next. And get ready for a good number of videos on that project. I can't wait to spotlight it, and I think you Kamelot fans, without saying too much, I think you're going to be quite pleased with just how well-rounded and recognized that album is on this channel. Just be ready. Because I can't wait. I'm looking forward to the experience. Like, at this point now, I did consider maybe, am I being a bit of an overachiever? Weighing, idealized content production with time and scheduling. We're sacrificing all that. I gotta hear more. It's the experience, for me, that matters. And with Kamelot, as much fun as we had with Mindfall Remedy and the first 2 pieces, we're gonna have a lot of fun coming up with them. Thank you so much for watching this video. Before you bounce, feel free to drop a like and comment, subscribe to this channel with a ding on the bell, and share this video with your friends. And consider checking out the description here. There you'll find links to my other channels, as well as addresses to my other social media accounts and ways you can help support my work if you feel so inclined. May God bless you, and looking forward to when our paths cross again.